Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast and the tour, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, when we engage with people in any or all kinds of pain, we're not good at it. We're not. Most of us are really bad at it. That is a problem. So one of my goals with this podcast and other related projects is to have more conversations, hopefully better conversations with survivors, in large part so that more people in more places can hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. And yes, that really is the reason. If you are one of those people, you've tried once, or maybe more than once, or you ideate, reach out. I'd love to talk. hello@suicidenoted.com. If you want to learn more about this podcast and other related projects, visit suicidenoted.com or nose around Spotify or Apple. It's there somewhere, and you can just email me. I'm around, and I'll get back to you. Today's episode takes place in Detroit, Ferndale, Michigan, to be exact. Tour stop number 5. The audio quality could be better, but I think it's good enough. We had a conversation with past guests, Marlie and Emily, and a handful of other audience members chimed in, not only after the event, but during the conversation. It was a small group, a cool space. Keep in mind, we're talking about suicide. Take that into account before you listen or as you listen, but I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's get to it, Detroit. This is Suicide Noted. We're in Michigan. There are 4 humans here. My name is Sean.
Marlie.
Dane.
Emily. Elise.
This is the Suicide Noted National Tour. Does that sound like it's a little bigger than it actually is? I don't think so. Not at all. You're touring national. Well, thank you. Good luck pushing back after that. So well, it is Suicide Noted. That's been going on for 5 years, more than that. And it is national.
Yes.
This is the 5th stop of what apparently is, or seems to be at this point, about at least 15 cities. We've had 4 great events. The coolest thing is that it's only my past guests in the cities who helped me find the locations. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do a tour. So I get the past guests helping me find locations, doing a little promo. Other past guests who are like joining to talk, which is incredible. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also very bold because I think it takes a lot of courage to join me when I'm sitting at my kitchen table, knowing other people here. But there's a different thing going on because whether it's a large group of people or a smaller group of people, it's different when you're in front of other humans talking about this stuff. You might know them, you might not. Emily, when did we meet and talk on the podcast? Do you remember?
The podcast came out April 2024, but we started the conversation January, February. I think we recorded end of March.
Oh, did we have a conversation before the conversation?
Yeah. Just a little like emailing like, hey, I think I want to do this.
Do you remember why then, so it's about 1.5 years at least, that you wanted to talk with me?
Yeah. I purposely didn't, I only told like one person and then a hairstylist at a salon. Like, I didn't want to tell anybody I knew about it. I didn't want anybody in my ear about what I should or shouldn't say or think about or think about this subject. And my attempt was March 1st, 2021. So the fact that we talked in March 2024 was kind of interesting. And I kind of got past that anniversary or whatever. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And I remember right after and when it came out, because I was waiting for it to come out and it came out. There's my friend Maria. It came out in the beginning of April. And so I drove up to Traverse City to see some friends because it was like a big deal. Hi, come in. This is for you.
How you doing?
Well, thank you for asking.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name's Maria.
I've heard.
You've heard about me? Okay.
Yeah. It's Maria.
Maria.
I want to let you know, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm doing some video recording. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Do you want to scoot in a little bit? If you want to be in the picture.
No, I would.
Then that's perfect. But if you speak, then we will hear you.
That's fine.
So right now, I'm just chatting with Emily, and then I'm going to chat with Marlie.
It was a big thing for that to come out, and it just felt like, oh my gosh, like that's out.
Yeah.
that's out.
Do you remember hearing it for the first time? Did you listen?
I listened to it on my way up to Traverse City to visit my friend John and his husband Kirk, and I was just like, oh my God, that I did that, and it actually was very cathartic. And my friend Shannon, who I did tell, like, she heard it. She was like, okay, listen, that was really, really good. And I was like, wow, really? Because okay.
When she said, I mean, you may not have asked her a lot of questions, but was it good just because you had the courage to do it?
Just
the content of
the content and the how raw and honest it was.
Yeah.
And purposely, like, I didn't even tell you till this summer, did I? Like, yeah, Marina's gonna be like, bitch. But, yeah, like I kept that to myself. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna do this, and I want to do this to kind of almost free myself in a bit, like free myself from what the event and all of those things, and kind of just let it out. That was good.
And you feel that way now?
I do now. Yeah. It was hard.
To this day?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been over, because people shift and shimmy.
No, I like feel what way? That the podcast was good?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And I'm not going to spend a lot of time asking about how you felt about our experience on the podcast. More, I want to hear more about your life. I'm always wondering how, I'm a little bit curious about people's experience, because even though you may have heard me, because you heard the podcast before you reached out, I'm still a stranger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we meet on Zoom.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm asking you about
a lot of things
that some people never talk about, or even if they talk about it, it's, it's the thing we do where we talk, where we're like, I'm going to share everything, and we're going to like soften it because you can't handle it. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So I'm doing, but you didn't do. I mean, I really encourage people not to be that way, at least for the 90 minutes we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to me that people do that.
Yeah.
To trust.
Yeah. But I had also been listening for quite a while, and I thought to myself, this has really helped me. It has really helped me primarily because the whole purpose is to just bring it out, and I guess I found some solace in that, even though I typed in suicide because I was wanting to kind of chase those demons. I want to hear details. I want to hear, like I was, I was on
different methods.
Yeah. I was on, there's a website that tells forums and everything. I was in my darkest times on these forums, reading obituaries, finding as many things that had the tagline suicide in them so that I could indulge myself and maybe push myself further and further toward the edge so that I could do it. And then I found this, and I kept hearing people just talk. And I think the thing is it is raw. And the reason why I didn't want to tell anybody that I was doing it was because I really wanted to just be unfiltered, and I didn't want any influence in how. And I was never really able to just even sit down with family and friends and be like, here, this is how I feel and this is what happened, because I feel like and I don't think it's intentional, but I feel like most people just have this idea of what you should and shouldn't think or do. And so because I was feeling like I just want to be able to be completely unbridled with this and not be judged or told how to think or feel or what to say, and just let it all unfold. And I read about you and that you're a storyteller and you're, good with those kinds of things. And I thought this is going to kind of organically unfold in a way it's supposed to. And I'm just going to trust that process because I need this for me, and hopefully it'll help somebody else, because the other people helped me, you helped me, Marlie, like that. It was good. It was a good thing for me to do.
Yeah. And there was one attempt.
One attempt in 21 years of ideation.
I was going to ask that. So it's 20. So you're in your 40s.
Yeah, 47.
So you had, and we got to summarize some. It's challenging, I know. So many years of ideating. And then in 2021, something changes.
Yeah, and a lot of it was some medical stuff with hormones, and they tried I tried taking birth control, and then I had problems, and then they had to prescribe progesterone, and it really just tipped me right over. Like, there had been so many times where I was like, I really want to do this, I really want to do this, but I would never go there fully. And this was just like, I was reading back in the medical records because I didn't even go retain the medical records until like 2 years after. And the medical records said, quote, she said, quote, I finally have the balls to do this.
You said that.
I'm here because I was taking this, whatever, it made me feel really bad, and it finally gave me the balls to do what I've always wanted to do. So it was in quotations in the medical notes. It's crazy, you know. And so I don't know.
You know how they say the proverbial they say a couple things. Should never ask why, and you should never ask about that. So I'm not those people, and I think we're all good here, right? With no filter. Yeah, it's important, right? And I don't want yes. I have a luxury in a way with podcasts, knowing people can just hit pause. Live, in person's a little bit different, so I want to make sure people are cool. And I also think why is a really hard question because you can approach that from any number of angles. So, in as best you can, why? Specifically, was it March of 2021? I know there could be like 8 different answers to this. So whatever you want to share. Why do you think on that day in March, a few years ago, you tried to emulate?
I'm just as much sometimes like bewildered by it all because I'm just thinking like it felt like I was on autopilot. It felt like it was almost an out of body, like, I don't know, lets you kind of like move the needle that far that way. I feel like it just moves. And I remember Gracie, my daughter, was kindergarten. And I had a rough morning with her, but I was already feeling rough because of the medication stuff that they were trying and this kind of thing. And I took her to the bus stop and I came home and I was supposed to go to work. I blew off work and I just, it was very strange.
You overdose? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was, so I was on Cymbalta 60 milligrams and Topamax 200 milligrams, and they prescribed me like 90-day supply, and I had already used like 20. So I had 70 of those and 70 of those, and I just, out of nowhere, just like handfuls, like choking them down. And I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know if that would have, I read the records and my vitals didn't look terrible. And my, they did the activated charcoal, they did all that, but I don't remember, like, I remember them coming in and I remember them getting me down to an ambulance and I could walk down the stairs with them, albeit shaky, and the hospital was a mile away. And by the time I got to I don't remember.
Not a 1 mile, though.
Yeah.
Not a 1 mile, because there was no 1 mile.
Well, there was not a 1 mile. We're talking about the mile that was in Detroit. Okay. Yeah, so I don't remember that. I don't.
Some people talk about the impulsivity of suicide. And I always wonder, I know, from what you're sharing, that moment, you said, why, right? So someone looking at that might say, that looks a little impulsive.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, maybe I feel this way. I'm looking for just confirmation, right? But you were struggling for years.
Yeah.
I do wonder about the tipping point, for lack of a better word, and that was it.
Yeah.
But nothing extraordinary or extreme happened that day. It's just, and then you have a way.
Yeah.
But there's no way to know, I assume, when you're saying, like, there's no, like, why at 10:08 a.m. or whatever.
Right.
Just the stuff was there. Wasn't.
And I went on Facebook and I wrote this big long.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
No. I wrote this big long note.
Like, on Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
That's how they had people, like my people that I knew from work and friends, like, they're calling to get police and the 911 and all this stuff. But I lost it. Like, and I think that's what scares me, especially since then, like having an attempt. Now I feel like now the odds really aren't in my favor because I'm like statistically, like I've done something already. And so when I start, like right now, I'm struggling with my anxiety and depression again. And I I start thinking like, what could be the one thing that pushes me off the ledge again. And it's scary. And I don't know. I've had to block my sister off my phone and all social media. And I've had to, because the last message I got was really mean. And I just told myself, what if I'm not prepared in one given day to receive some kind of content like that from her, and that just throws me off. So I just want to eliminate any of that external noise, because internally I'm already, Maria and I talk about this, internally I'm already struggling. So the other things that could poke and poke and poke until I'm shoved, I'm trying not to entertain it, but it's like it's a daily struggle. And it's exhausting just to be battling it all day, every day, and just shoving it out of you, just trying to distract yourself, or trying to, do what you have to do, and pushing yourself to do things. Like, for me, just like getting up and like making my bed and doing these things and getting ready in the morning. And those are really easy for most people to do. And for me, I do them, and I can do them well, but like in my head, I'm just doing this running record all the time. I'm like, you've got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And now, and just, I overwhelm myself almost. So yeah, I think, just being able to like throw it out into the universe, like, this is what happened, and I'm going to be 100% raw with it. And, it helped because the other people who came before on those podcasts were able to kind of like forge a path for people to say like, hey, I don't have to sit there and like just say like what you want to hear, like, I'm going to just tell you what you want to hear, part of my story, what I'm going to just share it all. Like, that's kind of unique. I like that.
Yeah. I want to hear more about what you've gone through for sure. But there's one thing that you said that I think not a small number of people who join me on the podcast at some point in the conversation. There's more than, even with me, like if I was a suicide podcast guy, they hold back because they've been trained. You know what I mean by trained? Like,
yeah.
You do it for years. So I'm going to share more with you than I do with some other people because I've heard it enough. So you don't seem like an asshole. But in this context, they seem like an all right guy. Yeah, but sometimes I'll ask, like, you mean 100%? Because you said the word 100%. Is this 100%? Not that they have to, but if they want to, right? Nudge, nudge. If you want to, we could always edit it out after. And sometimes you're like, all right, well, I wasn't totally honest. And then, okay, cool. Like, let's keep talking. Because why would you volunteer that after, not you, anybody, after, let's say, 20 years of just trying to live in the shadows? Did you go to you said you went to a hospital?
Yeah.
Mental health hospital?
Yeah, I was in like a unit where they just had like leads and like observation. Like, I don't know if it was a cardiac unit or just a medical unit or whatever. And then they took me, because all the medicine that I took, like, I couldn't even, like, I got up to go to the bathroom and they're like, you can't go to the bathroom. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can't walk right now. And I tried to like just get up, and like every part of me was just tremoring and stuff. And I'm like, is this going to go away or what? But eventually everything, yeah, they sent me within like 4-day time span in the hospital. They sent me over to a mental health unit.
Decent?
No, they're never decent.
It must be sometimes decent.
No,
I don't. Yeah.
Oh,
you could talk.
yeah, actually, I take that back. I did a rotation on a psych ward that was so dreary and bleak and the opposite of life affirming.
Right.
And I thought to myself, how
Right.
are individuals who are so vulnerable and sick supposed to recover, right, in this kind of an environment? But in my experience, I also had this unfortunate experience like you have. I was evidently in a posh, luxurious facility, but it had been the only time I'd ever been admitted to a facility. And so I had no point of reference. So to me, even though the arts and crafts and the menus. You could select what you wanted to eat, and there was a lovely garden where you could smoke cigarettes that they would have waiting for you. And leather furniture.
And we have two different types of
cigarettes.
We've got the Paul Walls and the
Slims. And I remember my husband when he came to visit me, and I was like, just like devastated that I was there. And he said, "You're at the Ritz-Carlton." So, but I still, I couldn't bear the feeling of being trapped. And particularly, I knew that I was diagnosed with this horrible disease, but I didn't want that association. And I was surrounded by people who had this disease and even diseases more severe.
What's the disease?
Bipolar disease. So in any event, that was my experience. But like the dichotomy was just stark.
Yeah.
Horrible. It's really the way things were when people used to be bound in these places.
Yeah, not far from that at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's a punishment, and I don't think I'm going to be a little extreme here, but I can't make broad brushes. But I think we collectively are okay with punishing people who try to take their lives.
Absolutely.
And
it's actually a crime. It's actually against the law.
Punish you when you need help, but to punish you, what does that look like? Well, fuck you. You're going to have to live. You're going to be in a room with somebody else who has a completely different condition. You should be in a completely different facility. They're recovering from heroin, in my case, right? It's like, cool. I'm glad you're recovering. I don't think I want to be sharing the room with you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But nor you, me, and all the other things that go along with it that pass for treatment are, I think, criminal. No one gives a shit what I think, by the way. But like, it's just, and then you wonder, like, okay, well, it could be this, a bunch of things. But you zoom out, you're like, yeah, you basically are treating people who try to end their lives like they're felons. You might not like how felons are treated, but that's a whole other podcast and going on there. But I think that's a lot of it. Like, we say we want to care. We care.
Yeah.
You're struggling, but fuck you. You're gonna be in a shitty place for a while. Do what you got to do to. It mostly means saying you're okay when you're probably not okay. When you say you're okay, and we'll let you out. Yeah, check. We get our jobs. And then try again.
It also seems like that's the mentality of the people giving care too. Some of them is because I was in the hospital that Beyonce gave birth in.
What?
It's not,
But not to you.
not to me. She didn't go. No, I don't know. But, and I remember being in the bed, recovering and having some because I overdosed on my medication and had a very similar.
It was an antidepressant.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous to say that it wasn't an attempt, but it was just I need to feel better. So let me take as much medication as I can until I do. And then you overdose. And I remember there was a nurse that all of the nurses. So you can't be alone in the room. They have to make sure you don't have weapons and there has to be someone with you the whole time. And I remember them asking me why did you do it? Why? Don't you have...
What's all the so this is interesting. I asked Emily why. Same question, but just two different questions.
Very different
because they weren't really asking. That's actually not a question.
Right.
That's a statement.
Yes. I agree with you. Yeah.
That sounds like a statement. Because the moment you say, why did you do it? Don't you have so much to live for? Aren't there people in your life who would feel like you're not, that's not a question.
No.
But we do this. People do this.
Yeah.
Are you asking me about it? How did that?
Yes.
So being Bob, if that's a family lab, this is.
I took over.
No.
No.
I
mean, it's great. It doesn't because they're caretakers.
They watch you
right.
Yeah. I don't know if they were caretakers or security, but
right. I think if did you answer them? Do you remember? I would say fuck off.
I can't even answer. I wish I had that.
Well, I'm from New York, and I'm kind of a jerk. You're not. I fake it on the podcast. I'm not.
I want to feel better. I just wanted to feel better, and
that's literally everything, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel a little better.
Yeah. Right.
Are you moving in that direction, or are you not? Let's reflect on the question you just asked.
Exactly.
Are you helping me
feel a little better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or not.
Just a chance to.
Because if you're not,
exactly.
you should not be employed in a place like this. You certainly shouldn't be compensated. Go do another job.
Exactly.
A lot of good jobs out there.
A lot of good jobs.
Postal workers, post office is probably hiring, which is an important job, but a little less stakes in this context are a little different.
Yes. Yeah. Even in the hospital, you can do other jobs. Don't be with people
Right.
who need bedside manner.
The relationship thing. So, not great, Emily. Bouncing back to you.
What?
Your experience was not great.
No, I mean, I've had a couple maybe better experiences. And, listen, I've hospitalized myself a lot. So like a lot of times it's involuntary most of the time, except for that attempt, right? So I've even had people just look at me and say, like one of the nurses said, like, look around you. Like, you volunteered to be in a locked facility. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Why are you doing what?
She asked, why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this to
What's
yourself?
the this?
I don't know. Like, why do you keep coming back to this point of
Not,
hospitalizing yourself?
was it a question or not?
I think it could have been a statement, like, you don't need to be doing this,
The things we ask that we don't really ask.
Yeah. So that always was kind of like, back at the end of February until early March, like I took myself.
This year.
Yeah. I took myself to the hospital, and I remember thinking, like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I really don't, but I feel like I have to. And I took myself there, and I thought, I felt a sense of relief when I walked into the ER. But then even in the ERs of these hospitals, they have like certain sections. Like there's a more dank, dreary, darker, like lit, ugly side. Like Royal Oak Beaumont has this really beautiful ER, but then there's this shitty area that they take.
I wonder who that's for.
And there's security guards there. Yeah. There's people detoxing, and there's people that, like are there for, and it was just even more. And then I would get agitated, and I would start telling somebody off or something because I wasn't feeling good.
And then, of course,
I get in trouble.
And you longer.
Yes. So
because look at your behavior, you're a danger to yourself and others, even though I'm guessing you probably never harmed anyone in your life.
No. So that's all of that too, because, and then when you finally get, I'm vividly remembering like standing in those rooms where they, make you strip down and do a skin check and a body check and write like your tattoos down and what you brought with you and inventorying your bags and all this stuff. And I'm standing there going, why did I?
Yes.
But I thought I was doing the right thing by coming in. And now I'm realizing, and then usually.
And you're like racing and just trying to get through it. And it's like, that's healing.
And then it would be like a 2-week stay. And I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really, I don't know.
What other options are we given?
That's a great question.
We're not.
You're told when you're in trouble, call this number.
There's one other option if you're very wealthy. And there's all kinds of cool retreats out in like, Sedona.
Yes.
And they're amazing, but they're $25,000 a day or something.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have that kind of money, this is what's available. Mostly. I'm sure that in certain communities they have other, I have no idea, but mostly, this is what you got.
Sometimes I wonder if it's actually better for their bottom line if we had died.
Well, now you're raising a really interesting question.
That is an interesting.
Some people are looking at you like you've lost your mind to even suggest such a thing. But when insurance companies are often the ones, or sometimes the ones who are deciding how long you care for, that's a very valid question.
Yeah.
And there's other factors we could argue also that lead to like, let's, right?
Yes.
Did you tell anybody about it? Still going back to 2021.
No.
Secret.
It was just very like before it happened, like that I was going to do it.
Before and then when it happened. So while
when
you were leading up to that, and then it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of public because I put it out on Facebook.
Right.
That was another thing. It was like very like, why did I do that? But
it's not broadcast.
No, but a lot of people know.
But once you attempt it, you're in the hospital, you get out. I assume in the hospital you don't have a means to communicate with many people. Do you get back to life? Because I know you're here.
I tried. Yeah.
So you've made it several years. We talked. Now you're here today. So have you been? I guess there's two questions. One is how open were we? And it's not Louis, but I'm just curious. Do you talk to people about it? I think there might be one person in this room that you do. And the second question I totally blanked because I'm not affected by that.
No, I will, like, if either they already know or no, I really honestly, like, if I don't know somebody very well, I probably would just be like, oh, by the way, I attempted suicide,
Right.
like I just,
Right. And it sounds like since then, you said when we first started talking that it was like 20 plus years of ideating. Does that include since your attempt till today?
Yes.
So these days, you ideate.
I do. I struggle. Like, I feel like sometimes it's way in the back of my mind, and I mean, it's always there, but I can combat it, and I can distract myself. I can tell myself, like, no, that's not really what you want to do. Rationalize a little bit with myself. And other times it's in the forefront and it's really strong, and I'm really, really, really trying to, like, figure that one out, So, yeah.
Go ahead. May I speak to that?
Yeah, of course.
Because with this particular diagnosis, and I can't speak to all of the diagnoses on the DSM, but with bipolar disease, I think universally, what Emily just explained, that there is a constant presence of ideation going on at all times. It's either barely perceptible or it's like a pressure cooker. It has that level of intensity, but it's very rarely, imperceptible. And I've spoken to many people who have this diagnosis. I come from a family where like 40% of the people have the diagnosis, and it's universally felt. It's not anecdotal.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You've lived it, people.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously everyone's bipolar is sort of a unique experience, but there are some common threads.
Yes. That would definitely be one of them.
Ideating.
Yeah.
To different degrees.
To different degrees at different times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we maybe we're making a little more space collectively to hear about people's past if you're doing okay.
Wow.
But we do not do it for people who are struggling. Dare they say that word? You get lucky. Like if we went to lunch, we could talk about it. If you find those people, you find the right therapist, if. But I think for a lot of people, it just doesn't mean they're not feeling it, of course. It just means that like I know when to, I can't. Yeah. And so we're talking earlier a little bit about data and the numbers of people. And it's like, there are I don't need this to be true. I just believe without ever being able to measure, because you can't measure something that's not measurable. So many more people think about this stuff and they just don't talk about it. It's just as the wrong word. They don't talk about it. And I get why. When I was in Massachusetts for the event, there was a woman, really, really, the wife of one of my guests, Andy, early guest. And, people just sharing stuff and sharing. Some of them were some survivors, lost survivors. They had some questions. Great. And she said, one of the things that I think people need to recognize is that shame creates silence. I was like, let me see where this goes, And I got a lot to say, but I'm like, Sean, shut up. This isn't the Sean show. That's a whole other thing in and of itself. It's just, that's the reason why people don't talk about it. Shame. So, people need to talk about it. So this would be very aligned with the just mental health campaigns of just talk about it. Hang on. So we respectfully disagreed. And I said, what I'm saying isn't against that. I think there's a missing part. It's like, but in my experience, people typically want to talk about it, and then they stop talking about it because the shit that goes on around them, the people and all that. So I'm not sure. I don't know what I said. I was trying to be very nice. And I think I was. Yeah, I know, I get it. Shame creates silence, but so do a whole lot of people around them that in one way or another saying, I don't really want to talk about that. That's on the minimum. And the maximum is a cop showing up and throwing handcuffs around them. Why would they talk about it? And that's the thing I don't I don't hear much of. I'm sure it's out there, but I don't like it when it gets put on you. You should talk. You struggling man, woman, it's on you. It's on you. Why aren't you finding another therapist? Why aren't you going for the 94th different medication? Why aren't you? It's like, whoa. You don't have to do that. I do. Play. Absolutely. It's a reason why people kill themselves. Unquestionable. I have one more question. I don't really. It's always so much more. I could talk about this now. We talked for a while.
Yeah.
Big editing job.
Was it?
It's always a lot of work. All right, I digress. Marlie is here. When did we talk?
February 22.
Oh, over 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When we talk, actually, it doesn't matter when we talked or we're talking now. Couple questions about the podcast, then I want to hear about Marlie's life. Do you remember if you ever listened to your episode?
I did. I'm pretty sure. So I'm thinking 25.
Yeah.
I lost like 90% of my memory and like about a year ago.
Oh, okay.
So I just like totally, I don't know. I may listen to it again because I don't know if I listened to it or not.
Right.
Like earlier this week.
Oh, because of this?
Yeah.
What was that like to hear yourself?
I avoided it for a while because I just like every time I like listen to myself or watch a video, it's like you cringe. You're like, oh, that's me. Like, I don't know. And it's just, gosh, a lot has happened in the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I started back then.
That's how it felt. Mm-hmm. You're married.
Yeah.
You were married then.
Mm-hmm.
Did your husband hear it? And I'm not looking for more listeners, by the way. I'm just curious. Do people share this with people?
I'm pretty sure he did when it first came out.
Do you think there was anything in there from our conversation that he didn't know?
No.
Yeah. And I only asked that not to get a bird's eye like, oh, I want to know more about your marriage. And no, it's just there are people that won't tell their spouse's thing that will tell somebody else who's willing to listen. And again, it's some weird, solid stuff. When, how many suicide attempts do you have?
6.
When was the first one?
October 21.
When was the most recent one?
May.
This May.
Mm-hmm.
When we talked, that would have been, so we talked about one. Did we talk about one or two?
One. I'd only attempted once when we did that.
And how old are you?
28.
So that would have been like 24?
I just turned 25.
Right. And again, we talked about this. I don't remember all of it. Like, were you a many years ideator before that day in 2021?
I had ideated in the past, and then it was kind of like a few years where, I was really depressed, but I wasn't ideating, and then it kind of started again.
In 2020, what happened? Did something happen, or is it like kind of like Emily, where it's just happening and it's hard, and then there's this opportunity?
There was never any really like specific triggers.
Do you have any idea why? And I know you're filtering this through memory stuff now. Why that day was different?
Yeah, no, guess not really. My tendency, my pattern was like I would think about suicide, and if I was sober, like I would never, like I just like could never bring myself to do it. But I had alcohol addiction, so I would get wasted, and then when you're inhibition, so I'm worried. I always like, and I do it. I would do it.
You did it for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time.
Was it pills?
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting as I talk, some of the original conversation starts coming back. I guess that's normal. Hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, somewhere in between.
Honestly, it wasn't terrible, but also it's never fun. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get offered cigarettes outside in the garden?
No.
Yeah, that would be great.
I was in a psych ward once where I got they gave me coffee because most people don't like that many coffee. And I get migraines now with coffee.
Right, they take things away that make your physical.
Yeah, but there was one where I went to and they gave me one cup of coffee and then we're like a little Dixie cup. And I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, anything. Was it good?
No.
Okay. Well, okay, beggars can't be choosers.
So was that your first day in any sort of mental health facility?
Mm-hmm.
How many have you had from then till now? Because it sounds like there's been at least one more.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in inpatient psych, I think, 7 times, and then like residential treatment centers and rehabs in 3 times.
So when we talked, you wouldn't have known this then, of course. That was kind of like phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know if there'd be a phase 2 or more, but it was.
Yeah.
Because you've been several stays of different kinds of mental health facilities. And you said, was it 5 more times?
Yeah.
Were they all related? Was it alcohol involved in all of them?
Mm-hmm.
When was the most recent one?
This last May.
This last May. Did you drink down?
In May I did, yeah, but there was I had been sober for like 5 months and then I relapsed.
Earlier this year.
And then, but since then, I haven't.
That must be hard.
So.
That's hard, no?
Yeah.
June, July, August, September, go. I mean, I'm a drinker. I know it's hard for me to go a couple of days away. Honestly.
I mean,
it's hard.
There was a time when I couldn't pull together, like, a few days. It was.
That good for you, man.
And I knew, even with knowing, what was happening,
yeah,
if I pick up a drink, I know what's going to happen. And
the brain that, yes, it
was.
Yeah. I wonder how common that is with booze or drugs. I know the risks, but I just want to feel a little better, like we talked about. Feel a little better.
Yeah.
Because it just reflects how shitty I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm. And it's on every street corner. It's everywhere.
Booze, right.
Oh, yeah. I can literally see a liquor store at my kitchen.
Right.
Yeah. Right across. Go get it.
Yeah. More power to the people like you who can just keep doing what you're doing. Man. Wow. And were they all with alcohol and pills, same method?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only reason I ask, the whole tagline for the show is less shitty, less alone. And I could be wrong, but I do think even method helps people feel like, all right, somebody else did it. They could look online and see like, oh yeah, a lot of people try that way. When they hear it, I think I'm told it helps. So I'm careful about it. But how many people in the world know about any of your attempts? And I'm not, but don't include actually, you know what? Do include therapists. How many people know about those attempts? Even one of them.
Actually, probably quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, all of therapists said that, had to tell the doctors.
Family, friends type thing? Or is that kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'd disappear for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Treatment centers and stuff. So, yeah. Quite a few people now.
And of course, anyone who heard your episode.
Yeah.
But you don't know them. So they're also in Sedona for some reason. I put the person on the list that I'm thinking of happens to also be in Sedona. And Marlie, Michigan. She seems going back. I think it's kind of neat. I don't know exactly how Spotify and Apple, these podcast platforms will work in terms of how long is he going to be available? When the world implodes, they won't be. But
yeah,
until then, maybe they'll be around for 10, 20, 15 years. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Do you ideate these days?
No.
Okay. What changed, do you think? Now I'm sounding like a therapist. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
I'm asking myself that. The lab, it's only, I'm on 3 months, so doing really well. Better than I've ever done since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And I just think, I don't know. I hit, I thought I was at bottom 4 years ago, and then bottom has a basement, and
wait, what is that? Bottom has a basement?
Rock Bottom has a basement.
That is a podcast title.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I
should be.
Should be. Yeah.
And maybe memoir title. Too.
Yeah.
Memoir title. Basement? Are you kidding me? I'd read that.
I told myself, back in May after I got out of the hospital, I was like, I'm going to try one more time.
You weren't done.
What?
You weren't done. So when you get out in May, try one more time to get better.
Yes, get better.
So when you say one more time, you know, because to me, what I hear is like,
oh, no.
And if that doesn't work.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't work, then I just need to, like, I don't know what
Yeah. That must be so fucking exhausting. Yeah. The whole thing. It must be so exhausting. Really. I think my life, I mean, I don't know. It's exhausting.
Yeah. And I think the really big thing that changed, it's hard to describe. So it wasn't, I mean, I tried, and like, I really thought that there was nothing else left on me. I tried every SSRI that exists. I tried a ton of antipsychotics. I did TMS. I did cognitive therapy. I even did ECT. That's how I lost my memory.
Oh, shit.
And, ECT, I lost count of therapists and psychiatrists and inpatient psych and different residential treatment centers, IRBs, PHPs. And I really thought like there was nothing else left. And I want to say like it got better when it's going to sound weird. Like I gave up, but not in the same way I always, in the past, if I gave up, I would have like attempted suicide. That was my gimmick, like I give up. And this time it was like, you know what, like I just give up. I feel like I've been spending years trying to control my journey, trying to control my depression, and trying to control my suicidal ideation and mental health. And like I couldn't do it. And so I was like, this is the part that's weird because it might get a little spiritual. But this time I was like, if there's a God that exists out there, like this is all yours. I'm not handling it anymore. Like I can't. And just take it. Like you're in charge of all these things. Whether I get, whether I stay sober or not, whether my depression gets better or not, like, and I'm just gonna just keep doing whatever the next right thing in front of me is. Again and again and again. And like, it was crazy how like instantaneously, like all of a sudden I wasn't thinking about drinking.
Oh, wow.
I felt like better and like my time and energy used to be spent all day just like, sometimes I wouldn't even get up off the couch because I was like, if I get up, I'm going to go to the liquor store and then it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just vanished. Like,
it's incredible.
And it's been the weirdest like thing.
To this moment.
Yeah, just trying to describe.
That's amazing. Do you think if you were still in the state of ideating or feeling suicidal, you would have come to something like this today?
Mm-hmm.
You would have came?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't ask you why. Why did you want to die? Which is almost an impossible question, I realize, but so what? I'm going to ask it.
I just thought like life was unbearable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always a perfect combination of, I think my personal life was looking pretty hopeless, and then it just did like all of humanity in the world is looking really hopeless.
Right.
And I feel like I've sink into despair really fast. Even now, like I'm doing better, but I avoid social media because I'll go out there like I'm like it's hopeless. Like I sink really fast and I'm putting myself back down a bit.
I didn't ask you why you wanted to talk with me then or come here today because most people don't talk about it.
I'm just one of those people that believe that silence makes most problems worse. And I'm very involved in with 12-step programs. So now it feels pretty natural to me I see the benefit of listening to people and talking to people. And I think the thing I've realized is that, sometimes the way that we've suffered or the way we are wounded, for lack of better words, enables us to help people with similar struggles in ways that other people, as good as the intentions would be, never can. And I benefit from listening and sharing and or helping people whenever I can. That helps me too. It's not just
Right.
I work like talking to people with suicidal value, blah blah blah. And you don't understand. Like this helping me. Like I'm glad you reached out. He's not a burden at all. I'm so glad you reached out. I mean, I get it because like I've always been like, no, I don't want to call this person and bother them like that, blah blah blah. But it's always the opposite for me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to gauge, in as much as you're comfortable sharing, why you came here, you,
Okay.
and what your connection to suicide is.
All right.
Three-parter.
Well, I've never, sure, I felt low before. I've never had like ideations or things like that. But what drew me to your podcast, and to your eyes, just because I just will think about it. And so, like, my good friend growing up, Declan, I love my friend. So he was friends. We were friends, like, out of high school, probably, like, into our 20s. Just loved him. He dated my best friend, Tim, at the time. And then Tim and him broke up, and then we got even closer. But the three of us always hung out. And I'd go to, like, all the sweet bars. I'd be, like, Backstreet and Joe's and like, oh my God, Halloween time was a bad. So nothing bad happened. We just kind of, got busy with work and you just get busy with life. We just kind of drift away. And then I ended up starting dating my husband. Anyway, my husband was kind of like insecure about like hanging out with guy friends. So I don't know. Sometimes it's easier to just, I don't want to say I didn't ditch my friends, but you just get busy and you just focus on work and family and stuff like that. But I always thought of my friend, and every now and then I look him up, and I saw that he was like an interior decorator and things like that. And I should have reached out. I should have. So I have a lot of like regret that I just never picked up the phone and called. I should have. I love my friend, and so anyway, I ended up getting divorced like just recently. And like when I told my husband to leave, that was like 2023. And my first thought was like, man, I'm going to like call that ground and it's going to be like way back in the day. I just love I need my body. So I looked him up. I found his obituary. And then I found out that it was suicide. That ground had two sisters and the youngest one passed away before he died. And she died of like, I think a brain aneurysm. And on her obituary, because I remember she was like a young high school kid at the time. And we were like college or outside of college. And anyway, on her obituary, it showed her husband and her kids. And my friend at work named Jen is dating this guy named Larry. Because I'm like, well, anyway, long story. I'm like, why is his name Larry and these two boys' names sound familiar? Holy shit, my friend at work, this other teacher I work with is dating Larry. So she was the one who told me how Declan died. Anyway, that's how I found out he died. And I just remember being at work and she said, oh, that's the guy who committed suicide. When she said it, and it just destroyed me. So then I started listening to a podcast because I went into it with the wrong questions. My questions was like, does he know how great he is? Does he know? It was always like, doesn't he know? Fill the blank. Love my friend. And I'm like, and still kick myself in the ass for never reaching out. I should have. Multiple times. I just didn't. So I started listening to your podcast because it was like, how could this happen? How could this be? It was like, oh my God, just somebody I love more than anything. And that he'd always be there. So then after listening to your podcast and after listening to so many people, I realized I was just asking her questions. I'm sure he didn't know how much he was loved. I'm sure he struggled. But I realized that the pain, whatever pain he had, I don't know what pain he had, but whatever he had was bigger than any maybe love he knew he had. So that's why I started listening to podcasts. It's just almost like my therapy. It kind of helps like to see and to hear what people are going through. Yeah, they know they're loved like Declan, but it was just so overwhelming. And yeah. And also my aunt, like I really never liked her, but she committed suicide like 2023. She shot herself. She was 81. I think she never got over her childhood. My grandma was super neglectful. So I guess that's the secondary reason I listen to the podcast, but it's mostly my friend that crowd. So.
You bring up such a good point about fleshing. I think you nailed it. Like, what are the questions? One of them is like, are you really asking questions? But also, what is the question? Right. I mean, yeah.
And it was so awesome.
I think, but for you, does there come a point? Might there come a point? Like, how do I frame this? Let me backtrack a second. It may be that we'll never understand.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? And then you got to figure out. You don't have to. Okay, am I cool with that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or no? You don't have to do that. And you could think about it for the rest of it. Because unless arguably something supernatural happens, probably you're never gonna have all the. Even if I could talk to him, he may not exactly have the answers. Then maybe it'll articulate it in a way where even his close friend get it. It's so hard.
Yeah. And I know even when I was first years ago, I know there was things that bothered him. I know he struggled feeling loved, I think. I know he struggled like coming out and things like that. It just, I think his body, I know it's hard when you're like in your 20s, I guess, to date people, and you go to like the bars and it just seemed like people, I don't know, but I don't know. I'll have to find out, but I just think the world of it, and I still do. And
so I was going to ask you that. This is a podcast for attempt survivors, but some of them are lost survivors. And I don't usually go in depth with the lost stuff, but you just said what I was going to ask, which is like, did his death, the way he died, affect how you feel about it?
I've always loved him. I don't know. Even when we went to really crazy stuff when we were younger, I just knew he always was so protective of me, like almost like an older brother, Even though we're only 6 months apart, he just felt like he was truly like a brother, a protector.
When did that?
March 2023.
Okay, and you found out also.
And I found out like right after, I think it was April. I looked him up like right then. I was just going through my separation with my husband, and I'm like, dude, I don't know why. I just thought, let's get him the hell out of here, and I'm gonna hang out with that guy. It's gonna be like old times, and it's gonna be sweet, and it was good.
Hey guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you all very, very much, and special thanks to Marlie and Emily updating their lives. Past guests showed up, and Emily for helping me find this place in Detroit, Ferndale to be exact, when we met back in October. Appreciate you spending some time with me, getting some lunch afterwards. And to our listeners, appreciate you very much. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. I'd love to talk with you. Check the show notes, the podcast description, suicidenoted.com. Reach out to me if you're curious. If you want to learn more about this podcast, ways you might want to get involved, contribute, whatever it may be, I'm around. The information is available. Please reach out. Thanks for that. And that is all for this episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.